What would you say about, and again, changing gears again, what would you say would be the professional limits of responsibility in terms of interviewing witnesses?
Okay.
So you're a homicide investigator, and witnesses move around. They go place to place. There's no tracking devices on people. They don't. Especially in Vegas, people come in, party, and leave. Vegas has to have some sort of special procedures because that's just part of the town. You have transiency. People come and they leave. They see something, but they check out of the hotel and they go back to Idaho or wherever it is they go. Were you guys given any kind of policy regarding out-of-town witnesses or how those were followed up on? Or was it just kind of like, well, they're out of town, so we don't care? Because I can't imagine that.
No, that's a fallacy, okay? Witnesses are great, okay? The credibility of the witness is everything. Just because someone was near or around a crime scene doesn't necessarily mean that they saw anything or heard anything. But the general rule is to gather up as many witnesses as you can and basically triage it. Okay, I can recall down in Laughlin when the biker gangs were shooting and beating each other up, and there were 4 bodies that were down in that. They called me down there, even though I worked robbery, but they called me down there because I was one of the lead investigators, detectives. I taped interviewed 20 witnesses. Now that was just me. They had other investigators down there doing the same thing. There were so many. And what you eventually find out is maybe you only have a handful of people that actually saw what they did, because I guess inherently people want to tell you what they saw and what they heard when they really didn't hear and saw what they say they did. They really weren't in a position to even see anything substantial or significant. It's the inherent part of a witness that wants to be important. They want to feel that they're going to contribute a piece of evidence or testimony that's going to just change everything about your case. But once you slice through these people and examine it, you find out they really didn't. They heard it from somebody else who heard it from somebody else, and all they're doing is repeating what the actual witnesses have actually seen.
And I would imagine that the longer a case stays cold or inactive, however you want to look at it, that becomes a greater problem, is trying to separate the hearsay from the firsthand direct knowledge. You can have 50 people line up and say, oh, this guy did it, but who really...
Exactly.
Who knows?
Exactly. Well, you only have, and they've done some statistics on this, how much time you actually have and the percentage of solvability over a certain period of time. And yeah, well, like a homicide, it's like 24 hours. 24 hours to 48 hours. If you can't come up with some substantial evidence and some substantial witnesses, well, the percentage of solving that particular crime really goes down. I mean, you might get lucky if you stay with it, but unfortunately, that's not how it works. Being specifically assigned to the robbery section, the number of homicides that cross over into the robbery section is unpredictable. And from robbery, it go right to homicide. And so you have this connection, okay? So if you have, well, since we have so many robberies in this community, if you can possibly believe it, 400 to 450 robberies per month, okay? And there's only so many detectives in the robbery section. So you have a caseload that is maybe 30 to 40 workable cases sitting on your desk. Now, it's not like TV where you get to solve a case in like 2 hours. Yeah, and you can't even work on one case all the way through because you have all these other cases. So we do this thing called Swiss cheese. Okay, you just work on one over here and then maybe one over here, and you just bounce around when you have the opportunity. Okay, so the TV, of course, has a lot of false hints on how police work is. Okay, and that's just not how it is. There's so much and so many cases. I'll just quote a statistic. A homicide detective, if he goes over 5 homicides a year, that's a lot. That's a lot of cases. And you can't do justice to a case if you have supervision and upper police management demanding to have you solve those cases. And especially when they have their super special case, which is called a tower case. Okay? A tower investigation. That means you will drop everything else and investigate that particular crime because it's come right from the top.